Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to continue on with the Singer 221 Featherweight. This is where your bobbin case would go. This is the hook area of the machine. I'm going to take these pieces out and clean them. There's one screw right here that holds this bracket in, which holds in the bobbin holder here. And I'm just going to unscrew that real carefully here. I put a little bit of oil on this area last night. I could see there was dried oil in there. Don't lose that little screw. Then you're just going to take your finger and hopefully... Okay, I actually stopped the video there briefly so I could get this loosened up. You take this screw out and you just want to slide this out of the way. The old oil on here was so sticky, I had to put a little more oil on and just slowly and gently work this loose. It's on a little pin down here. It's not going to come all the way out. You're just going to move it out of the way enough. Let's see, now it falls over now that it's loosened up, but anyway. And then you can take this piece out, and that way you can clean this. And when you go to put it back in, if you can see that little cutout there on the bottom, I'm trying to keep you in the shot here. When you put that back in, there's a part that protrudes in here on this side, just below the hook. You'll see it. You'll have to just drop it back in so it fits back into that spot, and then it'll be recessed down in here properly. And then you can just slide this back and put the screw back in. I also took off the needle plate up here just so I could see in here a little bit better. But now that I've done this, I see there's some threads stuck in there. So I'm going to just do that off camera because I think everybody knows how to pull out loose threads. Let me see if I can get it in the shot here. Swing it up. Okay, I've got some old threads in back here that I'm just going to pull out, and then we'll continue. Okay, I've cleaned this part here that holds the bobbin case in and put it back in, and push this back over and put the screw back in. Some people might not be comfortable doing all these, taking all this apart. If you aren't, just go ahead and take a Q-tip, clean this out the best you can, and turn the hand wheel here. And just put some oil right into this little groove that this piece is spinning in. Because then when I put the needle plate back on, you've got that little groove there. This has to sit up like that, and then when you put the needle plate in, this pin, let me grab something, this pin right here will go into this groove. Okay, what we're looking at here is the needle bar. You're going to notice your machine should have a couple of marks on it. The mark up here against this piece of steel is top dead or bottom dead center. You run the needle down and then turn your hand wheel until it comes back up, so this second line is right here, and then you should look down. Let me reposition the camera. When you rotate the hand wheel up to that second mark with the needle put in the machine, you should see the hook match the needle when you're at that second mark. That way you know it's in time. Hopefully you can see that. If it's not in time, then you have to loosen the screw and adjust it, but this one's good to go. What we're looking at here is the bottom side of the machine. This is the shaft with the counterweight, and right in here the featherweight has a rotary hook. It goes around in a circle, and if your machine's out of time, when you set the needle bar at that second mark like I showed you, there's two screws down here that hold the rotating hook in. There's one on that side and one on that side, and this is where you might want to take it into somebody that works on these to have that adjusted if you're not comfortable. You have to take both of those loose and then keep this shaft stationary and turn this rotary hook. until it's in time. And also this can slide back and forth, which can adjust your the distance of the hook from the scarf of the needle. So this is going to get a little bit complicated here, where you might want to take it into somebody to have that done for you. When you put the needle plate back on, make sure that this piece, this little finger here, is in the up position. It's got to fit into this little groove right here, because when the needle goes around, it'll come down and the hook will grab the thread and take it around the bobbin case, and it has to be able to fit through this little gap here as it cycles. Every second rotation it'll grab the thread and has to be able to go back up through here. And this one's not making any kind of rattling noise anymore because there's oil on this piece now. It was really dry before. Alright, let's go ahead and take this upper tensioner off. I'm going to turn it to 0. I'm going to push in on this dial. There's a spring behind there. And then I'll just take this off. That thumb screw comes off, this dial comes off, little indicator comes off, spring, another dial, and now we're to your take-up spring and these tension discs, and all of that will just come out. I can take all those pieces, and there's one screw here. I was going to say I can take all those pieces, clean them and put them back on, but I want to take this off. Are you in the shot? Yeah. There's one screw right there. And I'm going to take that off, and there you'll see this has a little bit of adjustment. You can slide it this way and that way. That's just to kind of adjust your take-up spring. There's a little stop here it can rest on. And this is considered a thread guide when you're threading it, to guide the thread into the take-up discs. So that'll just come off. And I'm going to clean all those parts, and then I'll put it back together and show you how that goes. I've already put this thread guide plate piece back on with the one screw. I'm going to just do this kind of quickly, put this back together, because I'll put a link in the description below. I did a really detailed video on how to do upper tension on a 201, and this is exactly the same. So I'm just going to put all the pressure discs back together with this here. I put the spring in here. I got the 2 pressure discs, this part here that's going to hold it all in place. I'll just put the take-up spring on, and I'm going to slide it on. There's a little piece of spring sticking out there. I'm going to have that at like the 12 o'clock position. Slide this all together, hold it with my finger, and just bring this up. And there, it's good to go. And like I said, I'm going to do this kind of quickly because I have a detailed video on how to do this that I will leave a link. The upper tension is back on the machine. When you're putting this back on, make sure you have the presser foot in the down position. If it's in the up position, this won't feel quite right. In the down position, it's all good. I want to stop at 0 and then go up to 9. Alright, let's move on to putting the motor back in. I got the motor here, it's ready to put back in. I've got to get these wires here and this through this hole right here in the bottom. And let me just see here. Okay, through this hole in the bottom here and back into this area. This is bound to be a little fiddly, but if you're patient, it shouldn't be that tough. Just got 2 wires coming in from the motor. Just take your time and work everything back in there. The wires are a little bent because from when they were pushed through here before, but I'm almost there. There it is. See, it wasn't even that bad. Okay, I'm gonna change the camera position so I can get that screw holding the motor in. Now you just have to get there's a little slot here and a part that sticks out on the casting of the motor. Just get that back in there, into that groove. It can slide up and down a little bit. That's just to help with the tension of your belt when you put the belt on. And then run that one screw through from the front. Just carefully do that. And get that. For now, I'm just going to line it up with the top of the casting of the motor with the top of the casting of the machine itself. And I'll just snug that down. I've got the junction box wired back up, and the two wires go to number 3. One is going up to the light switch and the other one's going directly to the motor. The next one, the middle one, there's a number 2 in there, is going up to the lead tube to feed power to the light. And then this number 1, yellow, is going to the other side of the motor. And I just plugged it in and tested it, and it's working. Alright, if you watched the first part of the video, you saw me take all of this apart. So I put these retaining clips back in with the screws into the bottom, holding the wires in here. I actually did put the junction box back in and tighten it a little bit just so I could see how much room I was going to have to put all these wires back. And when you put these screws in, be careful you don't cross thread them. This is an aluminum casting. I actually put a little bit of oil on here before I put this back in because aluminum is a soft metal. So let's continue. What we're looking at here is the top of the Singer Featherweight. I'm going to just quickly show you where to oil the machine. This one's pretty obvious right here. You take this cover off, and then you want to put a drop oil here, put a little bit of oil here. You can put a little oil on these gears. There's a hole over here that will oil the shaft running through the machine this way. And then don't forget to do the bobbin winder area right there, and also go ahead and put a little oil on here, and we'll put the hand wheel back on next. We're going to put the balance wheel back onto the sewing machine. Make sure you put a little bit of oil on the shaft right here, because when you're winding a bobbin, you're going to loosen this thumb screw, this piece you're going to loosen, and you're going to want the balance wheel to spin freely on that shaft. So I'm going to put the belt back on. I'm going to place the balance wheel onto the belt and push it back onto the shaft. The belt should be loose enough to do that, because if you over tighten the belt, you're actually going to slow the machine down. When you, let me make sure I got this on the right way. Get this thumb screw back in here. And as you tighten this down, this screw stop right here, you want to make sure that it's, I'm going to show you something here now. You want to make sure that you put this washer with the stop in the right way. I didn't. It was sitting right about here. I'm just going to rotate this around like this. Have these little tabs protruding outward. And then put this on again. And you can see that little finger on the washer was right here. Okay, it's right here and it's already getting tight. So I want to be able to tighten this thumb screw. Let me just, I know this isn't the right size screwdriver. I'm just going to run this in a little bit. So then when I loosen the thumb screw to wind a bobbin, it'll stop on that. There's 3 little fingers on that washer that you put on. It'll stop right here, and then this is going to spin freely. And I'll demonstrate that. I've got it unlocked, and my hand wheel is spinning freely on that shaft. That's why you want to make sure you oil that shaft. And don't over tighten your belt. There's no need for this belt to be ridiculously tight because it's going to put extra stress on the armature of the motor by pulling it this way against this, and also on the shaft here. The hand wheel will be pulling on the shaft, and it's going to actually turn over slower. This Singer Featherweight 221 is looking pretty good now. I did take some quality car polish and clean the chrome faceplate and the machine up a little bit, and then I do put a little bit of sewing machine oil. That's what Singer recommends to put on the machine. Thanks for watching. Remember to hit the like button. That helps out the channel and also pushes up in the ratings so more people will see the video.